My sister wanted to kill me, and the moment my mother stepped forward to help her, I stopped struggling. Later, my sister had plastic surgery to look exactly like me. She sat in my bedroom, waiting for my husband to return. My parents hoped she and my husband would live happily ever after, enjoying wealth and fortune. I just laughed, because they had no idea how terrifying that man really is. Today is the day Liam Hawthorne returns from overseas. He's been out of the country for over 2 months, and I've already been dead for a week. My sister, Dawson, nervously stood as Liam entered the house. "Liam, have you had dinner yet? I had the housekeeper make your favorite, pumpkin soup." This should have been their first time meeting. Yet Liam didn't seem to notice that his wife had been swapped. Nina had really done it, altered herself from head to toe to look exactly like me. Liam handed his suitcase to one of the staff and rubbed his temples. "I'll have a bowl." Nina smiled, perfectly mimicking my gestures and mannerisms, exactly as she'd seen on hidden camera footage. Following behind Liam, she entered the dining room. "Mrs. Jenkins, get a bowl of pumpkin soup for Mr. Hawthorne." Liam glanced at her briefly. Though there were plenty of staff, I had always preferred to do things myself. I never felt comfortable ordering people around, even though I'd been living in Harbor City for almost 2 years now. Before I married Liam, I lived in a quiet rural town in South Carolina. And truth be told, Nina was supposed to be the one marrying Liam. The Dawsons and Hawthornes had been close for generations. The Hawthorne family was second in influence in Harbor City, nobody dared claim first. Years ago, our grandfathers had arranged for a marriage between Liam and Nina. But after both passed away, Liam's family was betrayed in the business world. Liam's father, in a last-ditch effort, tried to revive the old engagement, hoping the Dawsons would come to the rescue. But my father had already been courted by other powerful players, ready to divide Hawthorne holdings, caring little for past loyalties. The Hawthornes went bankrupt. Liam's father died shortly after, and his mother vanished from Harbor City with Liam and their butler. 2 years ago, Liam returned with Hawthorne holdings, crushing every major player in the city. Anyone who had wronged the Hawthornes wasn't spared, either left buried in debt or sent to prison. Businessmen quietly thanked their stars that this was happening domestically. Liam's ruthless reputation abroad was notorious. By the time the Dawsons were nearly bankrupt from Liam's moves, my father remembered the old marriage agreement. Nina, fearing Liam's wrath, begged me to take her place and marry him instead. My father, like many businessmen, was deeply superstitious. On the day Nina was born, my father landed a major deal, one that propelled the Dawson family to new heights. But on the day I was born, the deal went sour, and the Dawson family lost half its fortune. He believed Nina brought him luck, while I brought him ruin. If it hadn't been for my grandfather, who fought to keep me alive, I'm certain my father would have drowned me at birth. Instead, he told everyone I was ill and sent me overseas to recuperate. The truth? I was abandoned in a small southern town, raised by a blind widow. Nina's name symbolized peace and safety, while my father named me early death. He hoped I would die young and not curse the family's fortune. The widow, who cared for me, pitied me and secretly changed my name to Sarah. Though I escaped an early death, I still ended up dying young. Nina snapped back to reality and spoke softly, "I've been feeling lightheaded lately." I was afraid I might drop the bowl. Liam stared at her for a moment. Nina swallowed hard. I saw the flash of panic in her eyes. How ironic. The night she stabbed me in the heart, she twisted the knife, just to make sure I didn't survive. Now, she was pretending to be weak. Nina quickly changed her mind, "I'll get it for you." Liam looked away and walked into the dining room. "No need. If you're unwell, you should rest." I froze for a moment. In 2 years of marriage, he'd never told me to rest. Now, after I'm dead, I hear it for the first time. It's odd, though. Despite my frail health when I first arrived at the Hawthorne mansion, I didn't get sick much in the last year. 2 years of sharing a bed, and I finally mustered the courage to whisper his name in his ear. I wanted him to go to the Dawson mansion and get me out of there. Grandma Dawson had passed away, leaving me with no one to care for. Though I was furious about how I died, living had also felt exhausting. The freezer was cold, too cold for me. I'd always had poor circulation, and I just wanted a warm, sunny place to rest. And when I overheard them talking about dismembering my body, I was terrified. If I died in pieces, I'd rather have been drowned as a baby, at least then I would have been whole. I'd rather be burned to ash and have my body intact in death. Unfortunately, Liam didn't react. He just picked up the bowl and started eating. I heard you've been going out a lot recently? Hearing him ask that, I brightened a little. I knew no one in Harbor City aside from the Dawsons. On my wedding day, my parents had told me that if I didn't want Grandma Dawson to lose her medicine, I should do everything I could to please Liam Hawthorne. As long as the Dawson family remained stable, the medication wouldn't stop. Once married off, I was told not to return. So after moving into the Hawthorne mansion, aside from an occasional trip to the grocery store, I hardly ever left the house. No wonder Liam thought it strange. Nina replied sweetly, "The weather's been unpredictable lately. My parents got sick, so I went to visit them." Her mention of our parents reminded me of the night she tried to kill me. I fought back with all I had. But my mother, worried I'd hurt Nina, joined my father in holding me down. In that moment, all the strength left my body, and I let the knife sink into my heart. Liam didn't say much. "Better to go out than sit at home bored," he commented indifferently. I felt defeated. Liam, so cautious and suspicious by nature, hadn't noticed anything strange. And now he was saying things to Nina he'd never said to me. On our wedding day, my parents had smiled apologetically at Liam, telling him that I was to repay the Dawson family's debts.